and strategies for insulating crawl space walls with foam insulation. First of all, we've got a piece of foam board here. This is extruded polystyrene. This is 2 inches thick, and we've gotten the measurement from the crawl space about exactly what we need for the application of this particular board. But I wanted to show you some of the tools. Obviously a tape measure to measure what we need. Saw to cut this product is 2 inches thick, so a regular utility knife score may not be enough to snap it. This is another saw that can be used. We've also, just to make things work faster, because we have a lot of this to do, we're using a square to make just one mark and make the cut we need. Use a marker pen or a pencil's fine. We are making a mark for the cut, and I'm choosing this particular saw. Cutting, make sure you have an open space underneath where you're cutting. Notice how I'm holding my knee against the foam board here. Cut your piece off. Then we get down in the crawl space. The other tools you'll need are mastic. This is a foam adhesive that doesn't melt. The foam, when it's applied, we usually just put dollops, large holes, piles of this about the size of a silver dollar. Push that against the concrete. I'll show you that application in the crawl space. We also have tape, builder's tape that can be used for the seams once the polystyrene is in place down there. So I wanted to show you again, with rigid foam insulation, simply measuring and cutting, putting it down into the crawl space, and I'll show you the application here next. We've got, in this particular application, a concrete wall. It's 8 inches thick. It's got an R value of 1. And we've got a heated space above in this raised floor. So heat goes from hot to cold. That heated air up there is going to radiate, convect, and conduct its heat down into this cooler crawl space, which is okay if it stays in a crawl space, but you don't want it to go to the outside. So we're taking an R1 concrete wall and bringing it up to an R11 with 2 inches of rigid extruded polystyrene insulation. We've got rim joists that are also losing heat. We'll talk about that later, but for right now, this huge amount of R1 surface area will be covered with this rigid foam. I'm using a foam panel adhesive. I just use a few dabs of this. And as you can see, my moisture barrier on the dirt is already in place. We're just going to go ahead and seal it in with this foam board. What I do is just gently hold it on until the adhesive takes over and let her go. Don't squish it in. Just set it up there and it'll stick. After we put this on and let a little drying time occur, then we can tape the seams. It's not absolutely necessary to tape the seams, but it's another way of reducing some radiative losses between the cracks. This is an example of the foam board adhesive that we use to make sure that we don't get corrosion. This is what happens when you use an adhesive that's not made for styrofoam applications. It actually melts the material away and it doesn't do any adhesion at all. So make sure you get the foam board adhesive when you're gluing this material to concrete. Now I'd like to just put this tape on the seam.